Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. My name is Catherine, and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. This is one of many college presentations being offered this afternoon, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded, including this one, and will be available at strivescan.com/Virginia. We are currently in session B3, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentations. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and introduce our very first representative from Barton College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terrence Holloway, and I'm your admissions counselor here at Barton College. Some quick facts about the college. We're located in Wilson, North Carolina. We're home of the Bulldogs, and our average classroom size is 16 students. We have a student population of 1,100 students. We will have a lot of opportunities for hands-on individual help with your professors with a student-to-faculty ratio of 11:1. Here listed is all 7 of our schools and departments. This next slide is actually going to show you all of our different academic programs that we do offer here at Barton. I'll take a little bit of time for you guys to take the chance to sit back and take a screenshot of this slide here if you would like. Okay, so as I move forward, this next slide is actually going to show you all of our athletic programs as well. So here at Barton College, we are a Division II school, so we are able to compete very rigorously, and then we also are able to offer some athletic scholarships for all of our programs as well. Our most recent program is our football program, and we're super excited to be getting that off the ground as we start our inauguration season during the COVID. Our football players are very excited to be able to take the field this year, and we're really excited to be able to cheer on our new students. Here, this slide is going to be our co-curricular programs. So our co-curricular programs, the main reason that we have these is for an opportunity for us to help our students continue programs, organizations, or some volunteering aspects that they used to do in their local community or their high school. And also the biggest perk of these programs will be that they also offer some additional scholarship opportunities for them as well. So if you're any gamers and you want to come to college and continue in your gaming career, and you can tell your parents for the final time that, hey, mom, dad, I can get some scholarships for coming to college and doing video games, that's a great opportunity with our esports program. Another great one is if you're an AVID student in your local high school, we do offer AVID for higher education. And this is just another opportunity for you to continue your AVID career and have the additional hands-on help that you've gotten all that time throughout high school as well. If you have any questions about any of these programs, like I said before, I am the admissions counselor for all of our students here from the state of Virginia, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions about these programs as well. All right, the next slide is our admissions slide. So we understand that over the past 1.5 to 2 years that life has been crazy. So we understand that it's been really difficult for our students to be able to do any standardized testing like the SAT and ACT. So here at Barton, our application is free. We do not require an application fee or any essays. And students do also have the option to complete their admissions portfolio as a test optional student. If you decide to go through as a test optional student, I will still need to receive a copy of your high school transcript. But besides that, I will need to receive 2 letters of recommendations as well. With your 2 letters of recommendations, I would ask one to be an academic letter. And with that academic letter, I would like that to come from one of your main course subjects that's required for you to graduate high school. So that's just your English, your history, your sciences, so on and so on. And then that second letter can actually be what we just call a character letter. With that character letter, it can come from your guidance counselor, a mentor of yours, a coach if you play any sports, or maybe a supervisor from a job that you may be working at back at home. Here at Barton College, we have our commitment to affordability where 98% of our families are receiving financial aid from our institution. The biggest thing is just making sure that you guys take the time to sit down and complete that information. Also, we want to make sure that you're completing the right form as well, just because typically the FAFSA form will also have previous forms up as well. So for this upcoming year, for our seniors, make sure that you're doing the form for 22-23. Once you complete that information, and that FAFSA is actually going to start opening up starting October 1st, so be on the lookout for that. Completing that information, putting Barton on your FAFSA, and then once we have that information, our commitment to affordability is going to start working on your financial award package to help you understand what additional scholarship opportunities you'll be able to receive once you're admitted into the college. Here is all of our links and information for our visit. So we are having all of our students currently on campus at this time. So we are allowing physical tours on campus Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 for the first one and 2 o'clock for the second. And then we are also offering some Saturday visits as well. Our Saturday visit times only have one time, and that will be starting at 10 a.m. We also are still offering some virtual tours. I work with a lot of out-of-state students, so I understand that it may be difficult for you guys to get a chance to travel down to North Carolina. So we are able to help and facilitate any virtual tours that you may be interested in doing as well. And if you're interested in doing any visit with us, just go to www.barton.edu/visit, and you can find all of our scheduling for any open house dates or just doing a general private visit with us. And then the last thing is, once again, I'm your admissions counselor. I'm super excited to be working with you and can look forward to seeing your applications. Here's all of my contact information if you guys have any questions about anything. Thank you.
Thank you. The next representative is from Coastal Carolina University.
All right. 1 second. All right. All right. Hey, everybody. My name is William Clark. I'm an admissions counselor here at Coastal Carolina University. A little information about CCU. We are a happy medium-sized school. We're actually located in Conway, South Carolina. Everyone thinks we're actually in Myrtle Beach, but if you're from out of state or you're from in-state, like myself, it's Conway. It's a small town about 9 miles west of Myrtle Beach. We have a little over 10,000 students. We have 5 academic colleges on our campus. Marine science is probably our most popular major. So if you're from the state of Virginia, you'll understand because we do participate in the ACN, the Academic Common Market, along with business. We have a Intelligence and National Security program at CCU. We are a growing campus, and we also have over 90 programs of study. So we give you a lot of hands-on opportunities to do some things, whether it's inside your field or outside of the classroom. We do have a 17-to-1 student faculty ratio. So usually you'll see classroom sizes between 20 to 35 students, especially if you're from a small high school like myself. I only had 500 kids in my high school. So coming to a small university made me feel like I was at home. And when it comes to our professors, 79% have doctoral or terminal degrees. So you're getting a really good education from individuals who know what they're talking about. So it goes a long, long way, especially when you graduate. If you need letters of recommendation and things like that, someone with the name doctor beside their name, it really gets you ahead of the game. I always tell students getting involved not only makes you happier, but it makes you healthier. We do have Greek life on campus. We have club sports if you're not really athletic and don't want to go D1. We have SGA, we have a marching band on campus, and we also have a radio station on campus. That was actually something I was a part of during my undergrad. It was really, really cool. And it actually landed me an internship here in Myrtle Beach for iHeartRadio. We do have 19 Division I athletics. Our football team has done tremendous. I'm pretty sure if you guys have been following that, it's been really, really cool. Our baseball team won the College World Series back in 2016. We have a really good basketball team, soccer team. All of our athletics are booming right now. And I think it's really, really cool, especially becoming a student. All students can go to these games for free. I think it's a great experience, especially if you're not familiar with the school and want to get familiar with the atmosphere on campus. It's really, really neat. So definitely if you have an opportunity, come actually watch some of these games. We get over 15,000 applications a year, but if you look up and down the I-95 corridor, you see we get a lot of students from that mid-Atlantic area, even all the way from South Carolina up to New England. But what I always tell students, it's about 50-50. We're about 50% in-state, 49% out of state, and 2% international. So you could probably have someone sitting beside you from South Carolina and a person sitting beside you from Maryland or Virginia, something like that. So I always think it's a really, really cool thing, especially with our campus growing as it is now. This is the middle 50% range for SAT, ACT, and freshman requirements. So we look for a 3.2 to a 4.0, a 19 to a 24, and a 1020 to 1150. But we always have students send in multiple scores because we do super scores. So always take advantage if you can take the test more than one time. We are going test optional, like I'm pretty sure a lot of other schools are as well, due to COVID and everything like that. But we look for a 3.5 GPA. It could be weighted or unweighted, along with your rigorous college prep program. So if you're taking dual enrollments, honors, AP courses, we highly encourage you to send or to go test optional. And if you don't fall in that criteria, it's cool. Send us letters of recommendation. Send us 2 letters of recommendation, write an essay or personal statement, and let us know what's going on. Show some leadership skills. Talk about yourself a little bit. It's really, really cool. I think that when we look at students' applications, we look for those things to kind of separate themselves from other applicants. And if you have any other questions, we have a link right there posted at the bottom for you. We are a rolling admissions institution. So December 1st, of course, is our priority date for freshman-based scholarships, merit awards. So as long as you get your application in before then, you are automatically considered for freshman-based scholarships. We do have 2 ways for you to apply. If you want to keep it old school, go with the CCU application. And we just started using the Common App last fall. So if you want to roll with that, it's absolutely fine. And when we start reviewing applications, it takes about 3 weeks for your decision once we receive absolutely everything. But that's actually all I have for you. Keep it short and simple. If you have any other freshman admissions questions, I'm your guy. Just reach out to me. Here's my email address right here, my phone number. I'm always willing to help out students as much as I possibly can. We've all been there before, so it's always cool to not stress out as much as possible. But with that being said, I will pass it on to the next rep.
Wonderful. We really appreciate all the information. And as stated, we have all done this before. So just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions you have at all, our representatives are here and available to answer your questions. The next representative is from Auburn University.
Thank you so much, Catherine. War Eagle guys, my name is Clayton Short, and I'm the Virginia, DC, Maryland Admissions Advisor for Auburn University. We are a large research land grant institution, part of the SEC. We are located in Southeast Alabama in Auburn. So we're about 30 minutes from the Georgia border, about an hour and a half from Atlanta. Typically when our students are flying in and out to get home, they'll fly out of the Atlanta airport. There is an airport a little bit closer, but typically you have a layover in Atlanta because it's a hub. So direct flights. We do have shuttles that take our students to and from campus. They take about 19 trips a day. You can have a car on campus, but if you don't, have no fear, you can still get to and from the airport. But we're in a great location in the Southeast, about 3 hours from the Gulf Coast beaches, 3 hours from the mountains in South Tennessee and North Georgia, no more than 2 hours from 2 larger cities, Birmingham and Atlanta, like I mentioned. So a lot of weekend trips. Now, Auburn's a college town. The big thing in Auburn is the university itself. So if you're looking for a full collegiate experience where you're surrounded by people your own age, that is Auburn. We have about 30,000 students in total enrollment. Our undergraduate population is typically around 25,000 students. And then our freshman class is around 4,900 students, give or take. We're not in a growth mode. We typically don't have over 5,000 students in total or undergraduate in our freshman class. We do cover all 50 states and over 100 countries are represented on campus. So geographically, our students are coming from all over. You can see our large feeder states. Now, the state of Virginia is in our top 10. I believe y'all are number 7 and growing. So that's really exciting. We do have a lot of people coming from All's area. We typically stay around 60 to 55% in-state students, 45 to 40% out-of-state. But like I said, all 50 states and over 100 countries are represented on campus. So Geographically, you guys are coming from all over, but we are a large institution, so there's a lot of things for you guys to get involved with to make the campus feel a lot smaller. So like I mentioned, it is a full collegiate experience. So plugging into campus is really important to meet other people and to get involved. We have over 550 student-ran organizations, everything from leadership opportunities like SGA, university program councils, to the Greek life, to intramural and club sports, religious organizations, cultural organizations, fine arts organizations. So whatever you're interested in, we most likely have something for you to get involved with. And it is important, and a lot of students do it. Over 19,000 of our students plug into at least one campus organization. Another way to get involved in the Auburn family is through our traditions. We have a ton. I've only listed a couple here. So whether that's hanging out on the corner called Toomer's Corner at the drugstore, getting Toomer's lemonade, watching the pregame Eagle flight before an Auburn kickoff, or rolling Toomer's Corner after an Auburn victory, we take toilet paper and go to the corner where downtown meets campus, and we roll toilet paper everywhere. It's just so much fun and a lot of camaraderie. A lot of people ask me who cleans up the toilet paper. We are actually the only county in the country with a payroll for cleaning up toilet paper. So just a fun fact. So that's a little bit about campus life. Of course, what y'all are here for is the academic side. We do have 12 colleges and schools, over 150 majors, so a lot for you guys to choose from. I changed my major 4 times while I was at Auburn, so I tried them all out for y'all. They're great. But like I said, we have a ton of colleges and schools. You can go to auburn.edu/majors to see everything listed there. We're ranked in every field of study, so no matter what you want to do, you can't go wrong. With that being said, we do have an exploratory program that's a little unique. You can start undecided your freshman year, and you'll take core curriculum courses, so you're not going to get behind at all. And you're also going to take an intro class once a week. And in that intro class, you're going to learn about the different colleges and schools that we have on campus. You'll take interest quizzes and personality tests. You'll actually be able to pick a couple majors to shadow classes, talk to faculty members and students in those majors. So you get to kind of explore before you're, stuck doing one. So it's a really great opportunity for students. But like I said, you can go to our website to see a list of all our majors. So we don't have a minimum requirement to receive admissions to Auburn, not to say that every student who applies is accepted. So these are our middle 50% ranges. So middle 50%, 25% of our freshman class was above this range, 25% were below. This is the middle 50. So that is a weighted GPA, 361 to a 418. ACT was a 25 to a 31. SAT was an 1170 to a 1300. This can shift up and down depending on the application pool every year. Now this year for fall of 2022, as well as summer of 2022, we have 2 routes for students to apply. We have our traditional application. What's required, the application and application fee. It's very straightforward. We don't have any essay or writing prompts. It should not take you guys very long. We have our institutional application on our website, as well as on the Common App. We also need your high school transcript, and then we need your test scores as well. These do need to be sent officially through the testing agencies, so through ACT or College Board. We do accept SuperScore. This is new this year. We do have a route for students who can apply as test optional, but you do have to have a minimum of a 3.6 weighted GPA to do that. And we just need your high school transcript in the application. These are our dates and deadlines here. So we have 3 rounds of early action and 1 round of regular decision. And then you can see the decision release dates. Most important thing to remember, if you want any scholarship consideration from Auburn, you have to apply within early action. Our tuition and fees are listed here. We do have a cost calculator online that'll give you a more personalized number. And then this is our scholarship barcode here, our QR code. You can go and take a picture of it or go to our website to see all of our freshman scholarships that you can be awarded. And then this is my contact information. So my email, my phone number, and if you want more info, you can also, again, QR codes, love them. You can scan that and I'm happy to assist, but I'll also put my contact information in the chat. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your evening. War Eagle. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you. So much great, helpful information. Our next representative is from the University of Maryland.
Thank you. All right, give me one moment. Let me get all this stuff together. All right. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. So my name is Jasmine Everett. I'm an admissions counselor at the University of Maryland. I'm also an alum of the University of Maryland as well, just graduated in May of 2020. Yes, May of 2020. So I'm a great person to talk to, chat with if you have any questions about the University of Maryland. I'm also your territory representative as well. So any questions or concerns you have, you would just email me at applymaryland@umd.edu. All right, so here's a lot of information just at a glance about the University of Maryland. So we are located in College Park, Maryland. That's about 20 to 25 minutes right outside of Washington, D.C. So great place to attend school if you're interested in possibly interning and in the D.C. area. We have students all the time who set up their schedule so that they're in classes maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then going into D.C. on Tuesdays and Thursdays to their internship. We do have also over 30,000 students, which I know sounds like a lot, but there are so many ways to make the University of Maryland small. So that's certainly something that you can make your own here at the University of Maryland. We also have over 90 different majors and over 80 different minors on campus. So definitely, I also changed my major a bunch of times. So certainly you don't have to declare your major until the end of your sophomore year, but you do have plenty of time to figure that out. And a lot of our staff at the University of Maryland are great at just helping you find your passion, help you figure out what your interests are in. Our most popular majors are engineering, biological science, business, computer science, and government and politics. But of course, like I said, we have over 90 majors, so we have so much more to offer than just our popular majors. We also have over 800 different clubs and organizations on our campus. So they range anywhere from club volleyball to a cappella groups to young entrepreneurships, to also squirrel watching. Our students are very innovative and very creative at the University of Maryland. We are also proud to say that almost 50% of our students identify as students of color. So that really coincides with the University of Maryland's mission to be as inclusive and diverse as possible. A little bit about the application process, and I'll talk more about this later as well, but we are now on My Coalition and Common App, so you do have whichever preference for the application platform. We have two deadlines. Our early action deadline is November 1st, and our regular deadline is January 20th. Again, I'll talk more about that in a moment. For our freshman profile, our admitted students mostly have earned A's and B's, very few C's, and we are test optional for fall 22 and 2023. Right, so these things that you see here, these are the 26 factors that we as admission counselors are using when we review your application. If you see about 1/3 of this list is, of course, academics. Of course, we need to see your grades, your GPA, the trend in your transcript, but about 2/3 of these are non-academic based. So we're looking at your extracurricular activities that you include on your resume. We want to see if you've been involved in any community service, because we are a do good campus and we want our students to do good as well in their communities. And we just want to see if you have any special talents and skills. Everything is taken into account holistically when we review your application. So I do want to also just include this here in case you all wanted to take a picture of this or whatever, but this information is on our website, but this is just a quick overview of what we require from students. The application, the $75 application fee. If you qualify for a waiver or fee waiver, it will ask you a series of questions to see if you qualify. There is an essay. You can choose to write your own prompt, a letter of recommendation, one from a teacher, one from a counselor, your official high school transcript. Again, we are test optional, and anyone can apply test optional. It's completely up to you. If you do not go test optional, you do want to make sure that you send your scores officially through College Board or ACT. If English is not your native language, we do require an English proficiency test as well. And then, of course, a resume. And the last thing you see on this list here is a portal that will just allow you to check the status of your application at any time. So for our early action deadline, that is going to be November 1st. It's non-binding, so you don't have to worry about committing to the University of Maryland. There's also first priority consideration for merit scholarships just by having everything in by November 1st. And then you're automatically considered for our other special programs as well. And then, of course, the last benefit is that you get the best consideration for admission as well. We reserve about 85 to 90% of space for our students from the early action pool. So you do want to make sure that you're getting everything in by November 1st, because while we do have a regular deadline of January 20th, you don't get any special benefits from that. And then, of course, I do want to talk about financial aid. So I do recommend that everyone completes the FAFSA, which will become available October 1st. Even if you're not expecting to receive anything, definitely complete that when you can. Our FAFSA debt priority deadline is January 1st as well. And I already covered merit-based scholarships. You're automatically considered for those just by having a complete application and everything into us by November 1st. So thank you all so much for your time. I do appreciate that. And again, I am the territory representative for Virginia. So any questions you have, certainly send them my way.
Thank you. Just another friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. Any questions you have about the college application process or any questions you have for any of our schools represented here today, we encourage you to also include the school name in your question as well. So feel free to submit those questions. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from Rider University.
Thank you. That was very sweet. Welcome, everyone. And I'm sure at this point you've heard a lot, and
from beginning, slideshow, and then from beginning at the top there. To the left, over.
Wait a minute. Oh,
Keep going over, slide, keep going. You're on the right path. Yep, keep going. A little bit more from beginning. From beginning, yep.
okay, so thank you so much. I'm sorry, everyone. Anyhow, last but not least, and hopefully I can give you some more information that you can take away and put into your bag of tricks. I'm representing Rider University, which is located in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. We're between Philadelphia and New York, about an hour from each major city. We're a suburban campus, as you can see from the picture, 280 acres. 1 in 4 of our students is first gen. We have about 3,600 undergraduate students, which means that we are small, but not too small. I usually say to people, you will find that when you walk around campus, you will recognize people, but you won't know everybody. So it gives you a chance to actually make new friends. The average class size, as many of us have, students in the average Rider class is 17:1, and our faculty teacher ratio is 11:1, and our courses are also taught by professors, full professors. We have no teaching assistants. In fact, that gives our students a good opportunity for part-time employment because they get to work and do research with their professors. We have 10 majors that have 5th-year graduate options, which makes it easier to get your master's degree should you decide to do that right after graduating. There are 70 undergraduate majors, and we also boast a lot of minors, okay? Many of our majors can become minors. We're probably best known for our business majors. We started in 1865 as a business school. Our fine and performing arts department has been growing and gotten a lot of acclaim. Obviously, being between Philadelphia and New York, at least prior to COVID, was a real big plus because our kids could do a lot of work on Broadway. Obviously, the university and the professors are so excited about the fact that we're fully open, and so is Broadway at this point. We're also one of the few schools that has a semester in LA for our communication students. So communication, film, and TV, they get to work with people in the field out there. As you can see, it's a plethora of majors. You have tons to choose from. I mentioned the arts and liberal arts. As far as that goes, the sciences are very large, as well as the health sciences. We're located between 2 major health campuses And New Jersey is also the pharmaceutical capital with Janssen & Janssen, Johnson & Johnson, Squibb and Merck right in our backyards. One of the things that makes Rider special is what we call engaged learning. Our students, we put this into practice 4 years ago, and our students must earn 6 engaged learning credits. And when we first did this, people were worried about whether or not they would be able to fulfill that requirement. They've all surpassed that. It's really quite easy to do. There are so many options. Doing something in the service community, collaborating with professors, being involved in the creative arts, leadership, being part of Global Outlook and or study abroad, and a lot of our hands-on experiences all qualify. So our students actually love this part of where they get credits, and they have no problem accumulating them. We launched what's called the Cranberry investment a year ago, and that has to do with us guaranteeing that Rider graduates will gain an entry-level position or acceptance into a graduate school of their or program in their field within 6 months of graduation. Should that not happen, we will provide career coaching and may recommend additional courses that you can take at a no cost or a paid 6-month internship. So Rider believes very strongly in the fact that you've spent this time and energy and money in your education. We are going to invest in you while you're there, as well as helping you once you graduate. We're a Division I school and quite proud of it. We do not have football, but basketball is our major sport, both men's and women's. We're really proud that last year, Stella Johnson became our first women's basketball player to be drafted by the WNBA. We've had male basketball players that were drafted, but Stella was our first female. All right, we also have baseball, golf, indoor, outdoor track, soccer for men. We also have field hockey, track for women, soccer, swimming, tennis, volleyball. So there's a lot to choose from. And if Division I sports isn't your thing, we also have club sports and intramurals. So everybody has a chance to be active in some way. We are an early action school, which is non-binding, as you've heard before. Ours is November 15th. We're actually a rolling admission school, which means that if you apply within 6 weeks, you will hear from us. We do put a deadline of January 15th if you want to be considered for scholarships. Otherwise, there isn't a deadline. You could decide later. You are automatically considered for scholarships when you apply. That's all part of the application. There are also 10 full paid scholarships, which are our trustee scholarships, which have a November 15th deadline. And our BFA and BA in musical theater, as well as acting and film, all have November 15th deadlines. And the reason for that is we need to give you time to do your pre-screen and then eventually your audition on campus. Okay, we are a test optional school. We've been that way for a long time now. So COVID or no COVID, you don't have to worry about giving us any of your scores. Okay, there are various open houses and ways to visit in the fall, and I will wrap up and tell you to come and see us.
Great, thank you. We do have some time left, and so at this point, we're going to go ahead and pivot into our Q&A portion of this session. I invite all our representatives at this time to please go ahead and turn on your cameras to get ready to unmute yourselves, and we'll go ahead and get started with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented it.
Great question. So my biggest advice is take your time, but also collect as much information as possible. So the biggest thing, whether you're a senior or you're just an underclassman kind of going through the search, definitely take your time and don't rush through it, but also take the time to see all that's out there. As you saw from tonight's presentation or this early afternoon or evening presentation, that all of us come from several different areas, you know, so they're not just in your local hometown. So it's okay for you to be able to branch out a bit and see all the way across the United States or across the world what's out there and what really may pique your interest.
Yeah, I always say, don't go somewhere just because you have a friend going there or a brother or sister went there. Go to a school because you want to be there. I always say take advantage of going to these places, ask us questions. That's what we're here for. We are literally admissions counselors, and some of us even went to these universities. But if you have an opportunity to go visit the schools, whether it's virtual and things like that, take advantage of it. I'm serious. You won't, you can go to a school that's maybe 10 minutes down the street from you and don't feel comfortable. But if you go to a school a couple states away from you, you may say, you know what, this is the right spot for me. So always kind of think of things like that.
I would say to keep your options open as you are moving through this entire season. I say get a clean calendar and make sure you put all these schools that you're looking at, all the dates and deadlines. Because for, a lot of schools, if you miss a scholarship deadline, that may take them out of your lineup financially. And later you may have gone, oh no, I really wanted to go there. So making sure that you apply to all of these schools along with scholarships to keep your options open. So pay attention to dates and deadlines because that can keep them as an option for later.
I would recommend to not be afraid to ask questions. So if you are interested in a school and you possibly want to know more about student life, a lot of universities and colleges have programs where you can speak to current students, but of course you might not know that if you don't ask. So definitely you do want to ask questions, be as inquisitive as possible because that will give you the most information.
So I would agree with everything that was said here, and I will put one little footnote on it, and that is that it's a process that is not just yours, but it's yours and your family's, because there are big financial things that go along with this. So it's important for all of you to be on the same page as you're applying to colleges. So it's great to apply and reach as far as the moon, but you and your parents really do need to be on the same page with that.
All great advice. Always helpful to hear from admission representatives, those who work at the respective institutions to offer advice, suggestions. So again, thank you for all that great advice. We're moving on to our second question here, which is what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
This is not something that I talked about in particular during my presentation, but I would say that the biggest thing about Barton College is that we're very hands-on in our admissions process. I think being a smaller school, we're able to do so. And what I mean by that, as your admissions counselor, I work with you not just throughout your admissions process, but if you decide to come to Barton, there is a very large chance that you'll see me helping you move your mini fridge into your dorm on move-in day. So it's kind of just being able to be a great resource and actually get a chance to work fully hands-on with my students. And there's students till this day that I see them walking across campus, and I try to give them any advice that I can. So I would say that's what I would say for Barton.
Yeah, I think this is my first full year as being an admissions counselor. So what I've learned, especially with being since 2020, is, students are coming from everywhere, and some students come from the same walk of life you came from. So you want to be, I always say, I want someone to help me get from point A to point B. So I want students to remember the same thing. Like like Terrence said, when you have students come up to you or you see a student that you helped get in, hey, I'm going to be with you for years to come. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you have a question about schoolwork or what this is, I want students to know, like, you can always come to me if you have any kinds of questions about anything, because like you said, we've all been here before.
For Auburn, I think I didn't really mention kind of why I chose Auburn was because it felt like a small town. So it came with the, resources, the big school, rah-rah, War Eagle, football, all the things, and that's great. But I was scared I was going to get overwhelmed or swallowed, or somebody wasn't going to know who I was regarding my professors. But we do have a small town feel, and part of that is through our smaller class sizes. They're going to be about 20 to 30 people, and the majority of them. So it takes about 20 minutes to walk from one side of campus to the other. So don't just shift away somebody or schools because of their large population. We feel small. We have Southern hospitality, nice people, and we're happy to have you guys.
One thing I would want students to remember about the University of Maryland is that we have a lot of different ways to support our students. So that goes well beyond the admissions process. Of course, we're always here to answer admissions questions, but in addition to that, once you're actually a student here, our advisors are working one-on-one with you to make sure that you're successful and set up for success as you are taking your classes. We have a career center who is definitely here to make sure that you are kind of heading in the right direction to know what you want to do after graduation. And there's plenty of different programs and resources that we offer to students so that they can be successful. So last thing I want students to remember is that we want our students to be successful, and we have a lot of things put in place to make sure that happens.
And I would say that we are a caring community. One of my colleagues says that we're very high touch. And by that, I mean that starting with the admissions counselors that you meet, going with the financial aid people, to the various tutoring centers that we have, and especially our professors, everybody is really very involved with our students and very part of owning where you're going to head and trying to help you with what your future holds.
Great. And we're jumped to our last question here, which is, what is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process? What is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process?
Oh, wow. That is a very hard question, and I have to go first. I would say, I don't know if this is a myth, but I would say that when schools are asking you about the things that you're involved in, they're not asking you just because they want to like they're asking you, basically I want to say they're asking you because they want to try to find a way to get you connected to their campus. So that a lot of the questions that you see on your application aren't just kind of like questions that you feel aren't necessary. They're definitely questions that they are trying to get a lot of those things, just like for University of Maryland, how they're saying they want to see like what additional resources that you provide that can actually help you grow even more on your institution's on that institution's campus. So I would say that would be one myth. Took me a long time, but I got it.
I say college, people say your college decision or your college search begins your junior year of high school. No, it goes all the way back to your freshman year. I think your freshman year of high school is when things really start, when you really should start thinking about what you want to do as far as your grades, and start taking extracurriculars and things like that, so you can build up to getting towards your senior year and things like that. So your grades start like at a very young part of your high school career.
Will and Terrence already kind of touched on both of this, but I always say we're not gatekeepers. I think a lot of people think our job is to keep them out of our school, but we want to invest in you guys. And I want to make all my students look as competitive as possible on their application. I don't want y'all to be confused, miss dates and deadlines. That's not what we want. So reach out to your advisor. Don't be scared to ask questions or ask advice. That's what we're here for.
I think one myth I'd like to debunk is that the college process is always going to be scary. And while I will say it definitely can be, I do want to also say that it doesn't have to be. One way you can combat that is by starting the process early. So like, for example, a lot of our institutions have like November, December deadlines. If you get started on that right now, that kind of takes away a lot of the stress that you might have as it gets closer to the deadline. So it really does help if you get started early, ask for help if you need it. If someone is willing to sit with you and maybe walk you through or kind of listen to you while you read your essay out loud, that's always helpful. There's so many different ways that you can de-stress the situation. So while the college process can be scary and confusing and overwhelming, you can certainly help yourself in a lot of ways.
One of the myths that I think a lot of people do is they automatically assume that they may not qualify for any kind of financial aid or money, and they rule schools in or out because of that. And I always tell families, unless you submit the FAFSA, we won't know whether or not you will be eligible for money. So my piece of advice to counter that is to make sure that you do it so that you are open for all the possibilities.
very helpful. I think it's a great way to end this session. There are many myths out there, and so it's always helpful. It's great to know that some of them you all have seen it and you have lived experiences, you worked with students, and so you can help to combat that. So again, thank you to our representatives for being here. Thank you so much for the great information and your time. And thank you to each of you for joining us. We have now reached the conclusion of this session. As we close, there'll be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking that for us, that would be extremely helpful. This is one of many college presentations being offered this afternoon, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded as well as many others and will be available at strivescan.com/Virginia. Thank you all and have a great afternoon.